it is fearless draft. If you picked a champion in the first game, you can't pick it in the second. You don't have the long-range AP mage of the Jwei, but you do have the long-range now AD mage slash AD carry of the core.
I was going to say, less long range now, more short range, more Halo Blades, spam E and annihilate someone's health bar in 2 seconds. Kind of look for Corki. We've only seen it in the mid lane so far, but it is viable as an AD carry as well, so keep that in your minds as we go through this draft. It could be a flex down towards that bottom side. It's going to be the Ashe, potentially the Varus, locked in to answer it on the side of Barret.
So, Ashe Varus, very strong poke duo lane for Assum and Jwei. Assum, arguably his best champion or his most comfortable champion has been the Varus, very important on that front. Now, in metas past, something like the Corki, the Ziggs, you know, double Yordle Bombardiers in some ways, would have been double AP, and it's kind of difficult to play around that. We have seen hands towards this pick, though, which is why I'm talking about it quite seriously, because now, because of the Corki being AD, you can go double damage types with the Leona on top of it. If someone gets pinged out by Meiko on the Leona, this is going to be mixed damage, long-range follow.
The top esports comp looking a bit like a nursery right here. Leona looking after the kids, the 2 Yordles around and just throwing stuff around. Double AD carry on the side of RA, down in that bottom lane with Jwei having an Ashe, and instantly a Yone locked in for Vicla. He's taking it to Creme.
Okay, so, step back from this, I want to talk about meta because it applies to these mid laners. AP junglers have not been very easy to pick in a lot of cases in pro play because you need, in a lot of cases, AD mid laners to go along with them. Most mid laners don't practice that many AD mids anymore. Mages have been pretty okay, or stuff like the more playmaking assassins have been okay. Because of Black Fire Torch being such a strong item that you want AP junglers now, we have stuff like the Corki going to AD, and people picking up the Yone, which then allows those AP junglers to thrive in their own right. And that's why we're seeing so many AD mid laners come back onto the board right now, full after practice from MSI and the patches after that point.
Well, the Lilia has banned away. Things like the Carpus we've seen, things like the Lilia we've seen. The Lilia, the Nidalee now taken off the board. We'll see if something like the Carpus is banned away, or also if Tian and Xiaohao are willing to play things like the Carpus as well. Carpus not necessarily a pick that all junglers across the board are willing to play, but it could end up being one of those picks that you have to by the end of the split.
I miss AP Shabana jungle. That was God,
I don't. As an AD carry player, I really, really don't.
Oh, that was fun stuff. It was Levi on Garb Esports who used to play that in Vietnam all the time. He was also in the jungle. All the same though, Assum leaving the jungle up until last pick. I think that makes sense. If you're hovering towards something like a Carthus, you're thinking, well, it kind of sucks into Leona, so you're kind of worried about that. Of course, on the other side, top esports, they also have that AD mid laner. They already have the AP locked in towards the bot side of the map. I don't think they have to double down on that at that point. But at least where at they need a magic damage jungler. There's that last pick. Will top esports trying to remove one from the field in the same way? Talia would be one of those picks they could have gone towards. Locked in presumably for Tian.
Yeah, that's Talia. Jungle. It's quite exciting that we're in a Talia jungle meta again. It feels like a long time since that was a thing.
That was what it was the last thing we could talk about. Yeah.
Well, true, actually. Yeah, the Renekton, such powerful combo alongside it. And, you know, with the Nidalee ban, Renekton Nidalee was kind of the classic. Talia also fulfills that role. And the Twist of Fate, it's something that this matchup, Cassante Twist of Fate, 369 is very versed in this from MSR.
Same logic though, point and click stun into the shove back. Of course now with gold card, gold card into Ziggs, Corki, Talia shove, Leona also pumping off the CC as well. That sounds pretty hellish. Now the thing is, we haven't got that much of a front line here from top esports, so where at them, it looks like they could have gone towards an AP farming jungler. They might not need to now, because they can just over-index into full physical damage and to say, well, you don't have a tank anyway besides Leona when she's got a W pop, and that's why they go for Ivern instead of an AP farming jungler that you maybe expected coming out of the second round of the draft. Instead, the Ivern will now block up those carries to try and give some extra survivability, which copies just doesn't necessarily have themselves.
Creme, it's a serpent's fang angle, my friend. We'll see if he is going to go for that. Whether it will be that full lethality Corki, or we do sometimes see more of a lean in towards crit later on into the game. Depends how much gold you have, whether you can get BF Sword or whether you go for the opportunity first instead of the collector. We'll have to see what Creme's build is going to end up being on this one. That AD Corki, very powerful in the mid lane. Vicla having the counter pick of the Yone should be able to weather some of the aggression.
I was coming into this split a little perplexed by Fearless. I was wondering whether it dropped the level of play or whether it really made that much of a difference. After just the first 2 days of play, we have seen so much variety, so much different stuff being thrown out onto the table. I've been really enjoying it so far. I think Top Esports, they really enjoyed Game 1 as well, despite, you know, that one 3v5. They have been coming in on a full head of steam. Assum looking to turn the tables in Game 2.
Man, when is the last time JackeyLove played Ziggs? I cannot remember JackeyLove Ziggs really at all, to be honest. It's not a pick that you think of him for. He's played 11 games of it in his career. He's won 7 of them. Not too shabby. We'll see how he does on the little AP Assassin. OBS! They've got OBS over in the studio. Excellent. Yeah, we'll see how JackeyLove does on the Ziggs as I try and hold it together. Top Esports, this is RA. Game number 2, let's hit the rim.
敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。
I did a bit of research just then. I've got a tab open on the browser on the side. So JackeyLove did play a little bit of Ziggs last year. Actually played 1 game of it in LPL Summer versus NIP. It was a win, and he played 2 games of it in Spring, and he won both those too. So he was actually 3-0 last year. Only it was a bit more of a rare pick, but it has occasionally been in the pool, which I have to say, I wasn't expecting that either. Again, just thinking based on vibes, JackeyLove is not necessarily like the mage slash Ziggs guy.
No, definitely not. It doesn't scream JackeyLove, does it? But then theoretically Senna wouldn't, but he does love his Senna. We'll have to see how this one's gonna go. The Ziggs definitely one of those champions, kind of like Caitlyn, kind of like Tristana, where you sort of warp the game a little bit with how fast you can take towers. If you play towards that Ziggs, you can play for plates very aggressively. Early stack here from Jwei and Assum, looking to get that trade to start things off. It's just going to be a hail of arrows. And it's going to be 16 gold into Assum's pocket off the back of that first strike. And immediately, JackeyLove and Meiko look to trade it back.
See that, of course, it is the first strike on the Varus this time. Lots of gold being able to get racked up. Ignite drops early. JackeyLove the focus.
Jwei burning away as well, but JackeyLove forced away. Bomb onto the wave just to try and get this CS. They're not going to hit level 2 first, and that does mean they're going to have to be real cautious when that level 2 comes through for Jwei and Assum. In the meantime, Vicla being forced underneath the tower. This Corki is just so obnoxious in the laning phase.
It is. One of the big changes to Corki as well is that the Gatling gun stacks up to max shred much quicker. It now shreds the maximum amount in 1 second as opposed to 2, because the tick rate is a little bit more potent now, and it shreds more too. So with Halo Blades, E-Start, you shred off a really good amount of armor very early on, and then you get to wail over them with a couple of auto attacks, because you do get this early push. Xiaohao spotted heading into mid lane, so Creme should be still safe to keep up this early push.
Tian moves into the mid lane, just going to get a shield. Oh, knocked back! Jwei caught by Meiko now. One more hit will do the job. What a satchel from JackeyLove!
I guess it's a JackeyLove champion. We revisit it here in 2024 after a couple of sparing games of it from 2023. What a satchel! It's JackeyLove really making the plays in laning phase.
That was ridiculous. I can't believe he's just got a level 2 kill on Ziggs off the back of finding a satchel. A lot of the time you don't even go satchel second. Depends on the matchup, right? Depends on the situation. But I guess when you got a Leona, it makes sense to have that follow-up available. I mean, a great start here for Top Esports.
Seems to remember, I'm trying to remember who used to play a load of Tian. Actually, we'll hold that point. Tian might blow his flash here. What's going to happen? No flash on Jwei. He'll have to walk his way out, it looks like. Hits. I think I'm not going forward in his own right. Now Creme's coming to play.
They're just trying to play for the Scuttle Crab, I believe. No, they're not. They're playing for kills. Jwei going to be knocked back and annihilated before he even hits the floor. My goodness, this is not what I expected from this bot lane.
No, me neither. But one thing which I'm really enjoying is we have seen so much Nautilus for years. And don't get me wrong, a lot of LPL supports are really good at Nautilus. Leona is also one of our specialty champions. And just seeing the psycho all-ins from bot lane around Leona in the last couple of days has been so fun to see. I am all for Leona meta in the LPL, given the level of our supports on that champion.
I mean, there's been years and years of practice on this champion. It feels like when Leona's not in the meta, it's like a hard nerf to the entire league. Yeah. Vicla trading pretty heavily here. Well, Creme gonna weather the storm, and that's the thing. Honestly, the Gatling gun is kind of like Rumble's Flame Spitter at this point. Vicla don't go forwards on that Q. Meiko Hex flashes perhaps a tiny bit too early. If he'd waited for that Q to go in, maybe there was a kill angle.
Maybe. Tian going towards topside. Tian no flash right now. What's the next card coming from 369?
Ghost for Ghost, looking for the pick a card, gold card locked in, flashes for the stun. Tian gets the knockback, the stun to follow up. The rocks are in there, and an auto finish to finish the job.
Oh, kills across the board now from bot all the way to top. Meiko no flash, but should be safe to walk out in that regard. Toppy has lost another deadly early game.
Hang on, is Meiko safe here? Shield comes out, Xiaohao, bit more damage. Okay, he walked away. I wasn't sure if Vicla would be able to get the Q3 up, and but I don't trust the players, okay? I never trust that the fight is over when top esports is on the server.
Yeah, that is a wise way to live life here in the LPL. As you said, in the last game, we talked about Jwei and modern art expressions, and sometimes the LPL does have these wonderful, sprawling landscape pictures, which are beautiful works of art. Sometimes it is just a banana just mashed against a wall. It just happens like that sometimes. This is a weird mix of both from 369 and Top Esports as a whole, because it feels like Top Esports are very aware of all the moving parts they have in this early game. The Leona moving out of lane, the Talia being able to roam across the map as well, with stuff like the water walking. I don't know whether that's been taken in runes, but at least the rock surfing. Comboing up in bot jungle, top lane as well. Xiaoxu pushed up a little too far and didn't have the W to escape that gank. Really nice stuff from Top Esports, knowing who can respond when.
Yeah. I think on the point of modern art as well, like, you know, sometimes it is a banana taped to a wall, and sometimes that's the level. But sometimes it's a combination of OMG's bot laner and BLG's mid laner, and it's a starry night, you know? Like, it's just one of those things where you get both sides.
What are you kidding me? How long did you spend thinking about that? How much is that?
He'd be like a bolt of lightning, I'm not going to lie. I don't know why, but yeah, someone up there wanted me to make that terrible joke. Vicla going pretty aggressive onto Creme, but again, this Corki just trades so efficiently.
Oh, yes it does. And it's back in the past, thinking back in Season 2, Season 3 particularly, there was this meme that every time an important tournament came up, Corki was just always there. Back in Season 3, 4, 5, Corki was just always buffed before Worlds and stuff like that. And one of the reasons why Corki was present back in these early seasons was he was, back when he was picked as a bot laner, very lane dominant early on. A lot of changes have happened between now and then, but we're now closer towards that version than we are of the more AP into poke / AP stuff that we've seen in the last couple of years. And we can see how good Corki is at just taking hard trades early, using the auto attacks and the Halo Blades into this as well to get control of that lane. Feels like Vicla is going to be struggling to get unlocked onto the map. When he does, though, he can start locking up some of these squishier maps.
One of the really fun things about the new version of Corki as well is very early on, obviously it's depending on the matchup, probably not against Yone, but you can go W second, you run sudden impact, and your next auto just gets 20 true damage. Like, you just get a bunch of free true damage. You got Halo Blades, you got your Gatling gun rolling, like, you just shred health bars. You can just W in aggressively with impunity on your level 2 spike, and just get so much value for it.
So one of the other things they added to Corki as well is just like a little bit more quality of life on how your W deals damage, so you get more quality of life damage from that as well. So I can actually see that working quite well. I will research it, Joe. You've given me ideas now. Of course, Sudden Impact has been changed. Loads of the routes have been changed. No Ingenious Hunter anymore. Sudden Impact, instead of giving you Magic Pen and Physical Pen, it gives you just an extra bit of damage in your auto attack. There are lots of other things. We already talked about how First Strike has changed too, gives you a lot more gold, but maybe a little bit less damage. Really waiting to see how that affects the meta as top lane.
Vicla does manage to snap back before the CC comes through from Meiko. Xiaoxu, can he get away with his life? Doesn't manage to buffer the knockback. There's not that much damage coming out just yet, but maybe a bit more CC. The red card comes in. Ultimate from 369. Is he going to go for this Swan? The Weaver's Wall is there, and there's the Destiny as well. Execution in the top side.
Oh, that is such an obnoxious use of your double globals to chase down just a single kill. They have extended quite heavily into the enemy jungle now, though.
Oh, the flash from Tian is gorgeous. Threatens the knockback. Daisy is running amok in the backline, but it's not quite enough. And Vicla now goes in trying to finish off Tian. As 369 getting the damage down. Vicla dives back out, has the Q3 to dash away, and will survive.
How the heck does Vicla get out of that one alive? I thought he'd go way too deep, but I think actually the sweeper at the end of that play denies vision for a last blue card to potentially take him down. Rare Adam at least fire one back after the bold play on top side of 369 and TM. This has left Creme now alone on mid tower though, so despite the kill going over to Vicla, moving a plate in the mid lane will even up the, I guess, the goal just about to even again.
It does feel more even this game, doesn't it? It does feel a bit more back and forth. The gold is still 3,000 ahead for Top Esports. They've got the 3 grubs, and another 3 will spawn in 25 seconds time. So keep your eyes on the minimap, everyone at home, at how these players rotate now. See who goes for that neutral objective. Obviously, the first straight went the way of RA. That's the advantage they found for themselves in this early game.
So, what are our next big points? We did say that we need to be very careful about how long we leave Ziggs alone on the tower. This is kind of what's happening. That will mean that there's an easy satchel there at some point. Xiaohao more interested in mid lane.
Oh no, Vicla in so much trouble. The brushes actually keep him alive. Creme couldn't get any auto attacks out because he was inside the brushes coming out from Xiaohao.
Also doesn't quite clip with the Valkyrie, so a couple of minor things going the way of Rare Atom in that mid lane. Xiaohao, of course, lost Daisy now. It's a long cooldown in the early game. Won't have that available for this grub spawn at the very least. Assum gets a sensor of the whole onto him as well. Dangerous stuff from JackeyLove.
Yeah, JackeyLove, he's not messing about, is he? He's mad at that Cogball solo kill in the previous game. He's not happy with how that one went. Oh, the smite. Actually, that's from Tian. I don't think Tian can outsmite this last one, but maybe he can get it to reset instead. JackeyLove finishes off a tower while all of this grunt battling is going on. Meiko flashes the Q3, but the ult onto Tian. No way out of this one, and RA find themselves an advantage. Creme trying to finish off Vicla in the meantime. Xiaohao forced away from the play. 369 sets it up, and Meiko finishes it off. Xiaohao the next one. Xiaoxu, sorry, the next one, as he's taken down as well. And it's looking like 6 grubs for Top Esports. Oh, wait. Jwei tries to get under the tower.
Jwei.
I thought the fight was over, but there's just nowhere to go. 369's cut off the escape route. Meiko's there to tank the tower. See you later, buddy.
Yeah, call him Spider-Man because there's no Jwei home. Vicla also on the menu. Kill solo from Creme.
Well, I don't know how long this game is going to last in Nymeara, but that's the second tower finished off by JackeyLove as well. 5 grubs. The Sigthorn's still there, waiting to be picked up by Top Esports. Kills galore. I mean, what more? It's a 7,000 gold lead in 12 minutes.
We were talking about how the game was so over when it was, you know, a decent gold lead at 20 minutes. It's even more destructive at this point. And TF, can you stop killing them?
Oh, good God. Actually, 369 might have overdone this one. He nearly gets the kill as Assum barely gets out with his life. 369 is still alive despite the TP. Nearly kills both of them.
Oh my word, Top Esports, when they are on their game, are one of the most entertaining teams in the world. Every single member very willing to jump into these plays, but while they're doing that, they're also getting resources across the map. They're killing bot lane turret, they're killing waves in extra lanes than Rare Atom have even access to. Yes, the start of this play from Rare Atom is a kill once again, but they use so many resources and it takes so long for that to happen that the cleanup from Top Esports is well in time to make the most of the back end of this fight. And particularly Creme just getting so much auto attack uptime, getting those extra rocket cooldown down as well. Means that he is just absolutely obliterating with that.
It certainly is. And worth mentioning as well, 369 had a 2-level lead when Xiaoxu TP'd into that bot lane play. I don't know what has been happening in that top lane. I've seen a lot of this matchup at MSI. It's not meant to be a 2-level lead for the TF. It's meant to be a lead, but maybe not quite that much. 0-3-0 so far for Xiaoxu, who honestly was a bit of a shining light last split, especially on the Cassante and the Aatrox. This could be a tower. Satchel's there. JackeyLove just has to bob that over. And there we go. All 15 plates taken by Top Esports.
Oh, that is so much gold. On the other side, there's what, 1 plate taken in mid, 2 taken from bot lane from Rare Atom, so they are down at 12 plates in net value on that point. And Rare Atom, it is so hard for them to fight back at this point. I will say, you can stall out of Ziggs on the inner ring of turrets. It's much harder for you to get 3 waves onto them, as we have seen around the outer turrets, because Rare would have pulled across the map so much. The Herald, though, stops that stall coming in nearly as easily, so there is a chance for a bit of a stall out from Rare Atom if they can keep some of their turrets alive. It is a hard ask with that other objective taken, though.
Yeah, that's very optimistic. It's almost a 2,500. Yeah, 2,500 gold lead here for 369 at the top side, 2,000 gold lead for JackeyLove. And, you know, I was being really optimistic for RNG in the first series. Now you get to be really optimistic for RA in this second series. And good lord, do they need some optimism. They need some hopium, copium, whatever you want to call it at this point. No, sorry, well, we said we're not going to do Crooks.
Not in this case. You say hopium, copium. One of my favorite rare atoms is francium. It is, sadly though, only about around for 1 second, and there's only about 1 gram of it on the Earth's crust at any one time because it decays so fast and then goes into the. So, sadly, on the list of EOMs, that's not one of their best things to do right now.
Well, the more you know. I'm not really sure where to go with that one. I don't know anything about chemistry, but there you go.
If you think about it like sodium, you know how it kind of sets on fire when you put it in water? This is like the super version of that too. So that's a fun thing. That's your fun fact of the day.
Excellent. Well, I'll see if that happens in this game. I'll look out for the francium, was it?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, you got it. See, you've learned already. You know,
look,
more than you did like a minute ago, maybe.
Yeah, to quote Johnny English, the only thing francium shouldn't be allowed to host is an invasion. The quote didn't really work. That's all I've got. Johnny English quotes is all I've got in this situation. Oh, Creme just sidesteps the ultimate and everything. He might have even won that 1v1, but Vicla actually flashing for this one, and he gets it! Vicla turns it around with the help of the redemption from Xiaohao.
Oh, you can remove his lethal tempo, but you can't remove that kind of play from Yone. Ult's coming in onto Meiko, but not able to finish that one off.
Jwei survives the ult from Meiko. Just used defensively there. 9-3 on the scoreboard, but a bit of a stall out coming out with the fact that Creme went down. Suddenly, it's a bit more difficult for top esports to really force anything.
Yeah, it means you can't do the full court press quite as easily. JackeyLove at least sniffing out that bush just around the corner, knowing that there's likely someone stood in it, so pays respect all the same. Top esports would say that they need to be aware that it's quite hard to break open some of these inhibitor turrets, and there is a chance that things will stall against them. They've already taken one on the bot side of the map, which is helpful to them. That's not going to be the easiest defense now from Rare Atom all the same. Minutes-All Dragon coming up as well. I don't really think Rare Atom are in any position to approach that all the same. They're in a race just to get as many resources as possible before top esports pull the trigger again.
Yeah. I mean, this is one of those games where, for top esports, they're just like, oh, why isn't it 20 minutes yet? You know, like, if Baron was available, they could try and brute force that. Assum takes a chunk. JackeyLove slightly wide on the initial bouncing bomb, though, so not too much damage coming on through there. And luckily, Xiaohao can help his team withstand a lot of the poke that's going to come through from the 6.
But he can't be everywhere at once. So when you're in a split map state, you can only protect one person at a time. Meiko's now going into the enemy jungle. This Leona, of course, a huge part of this too. Kings Vicla.
Nice ult from Vicla. Buffers it, so Meiko's solar flare doesn't quite connect onto a kill here. But a 4-man play on the top side. Tian here as well. Daisy goes forward. God sends his strongest soldiers, and Daisy is exactly that. But unfortunately not strong enough. And in the meantime, 369 going to push into that mid lane. And like you say, just it is so difficult when you're being pulled around the map like this.
God gives his hardest battles to his strongest soldiers, and in this case, the hardest battle is just walking within any metric margin of top esports. Like, they just have so much damage available to them. And this is now the problem. In other games, maybe you could say you could wave clear a little bit with the Varus, with the poke. You just can't be everywhere at once. And top esports with the Satchel will take down another turret. Don't even need it in this case. Just use their auto attacks all the same. They can fall back for a dragon. They can go towards the top lane in a turret. They have options available to them. One extra auto attack here will unlock the Satchel damage, and top esports will accelerate somehow even faster into the advantage.
You know, the way that top esports are playing, oh, Weaver's Wall comes on through. Vicla's in trouble here. Flash sideways to dodge the chains as Meiko dives in amongst 4 players. The bomb lands. Meiko's still pretty chunked, but shield comes through across the team. Xiaoxu trying to get a flank on the bottom side. Won't be able to get it though. And unfortunately, RA can't find anything.
And now you have Jwei, Assum, Vicla, Xiaohao, and of course Xiaoxu because he didn't take it, with no flashes. You have no way to get out of the next solar flare that comes through. And that's a big problem because the damage we've already seen on display from top esports, all it needs to do is have someone pinned in front of them for it to be guaranteed. With Dragon coming up, with Baron coming up soon as well, top esports, as long as they just wait, 20 seconds for the next big fight, they will be able to punish anyone who steps anywhere remotely close to them.
Yeah, honestly, as top esports, I kind of like the idea of just ignoring this Drake entirely. Maybe RA try and go for that instead. You just get a free Baron at that point. Although, realistically, I'm not sure RA are even entertaining the idea of going for a Drake. Tian and JackeyLove will pick that up for themselves as RA have fully stacked this top side. They want to try and get onto Creme, but Creme has just absolutely railed Vicla on the top side. What is that?
Oh my word, the 2-item lethality Corki goes forward with the Gatling gun, shredding even more flat armor as well. It's effectively a second Dirk in inventory with that E maxed out. And Vicla just hasn't had the stats to deal with it. Hasn't got Ninja Tabi or anything like that. He has no armor. He is eating true damage from Creme at this point, and now Assum, they went towards top side, they couldn't find a play, they're losing bot side jungle camps, they're losing waves being pushed in across the board, they're losing everything.
I don't know if you saw that. 369 tried to steal the Grump away, and the thumbs down comes from Tian. Yates stealing my Grump. Destiny to the top side as Vicla finds himself alone in a 2v1. Creme finishes the job. And now top esports, they can move towards top inhib, they can move towards a Baron. Right now, top esports, they're in the mold, They're in the shopping centre. Yes. They're looking at all of their options.
Yeah, I think normally that would be window shopping. They have smashed the window. The glass pieces are everywhere, and Adam, they've got to watch their feet.
Yeah, they got a bottomless credit card in this one. The Weaver's Wall just pins him with the solar flare on top as well. Xiaoxu tries to buy anything. He gets Tian. It's a consolation prize for RA. They kill the top esports jungler. It's Meiko. 1 HP and walks away. But that is going to be curtains. A 21.5-minute win for top esports over RA. Absolute decimation. And my goodness, what a welcome back from MSI for top esports.
If anyone was worried about the post-MSI hangover, which affects some teams historically. Not today, folks. Not today. Top esports, their early games were crisp. So good at moving between different members, getting everyone involved in plays, and getting all of the resources across all of the lanes at the same time. That was a great early game. Love the way that they played that. And sadly for Assum, they're a team which we thought would have to step up to the plate. They were definitely looking like the underdogs coming into this one. They didn't really ever start anything in the early game, and they fell behind so early that they could never really mount a defense. Top esports taking no prisoners.
I mean, luckily for top esports, you mentioned the post-MSI hangover. You've got to win MSI to get the hangover. They're cruising. They're absolutely cruising. We'll see if BLG can do the same later on in the split. But yeah, pretty one-sided series. Fantastic stuff. 369. I'm guessing there's some fans wanting to take a photo there. Happy to pose for them. Top esports, they come back from the international and they continue with destruction domestically. Phenomenal series, and honestly, just